Alright, what's up all of you traders out there and TF2 players? Basically, I'm just going to touch a tad bit on possible upcoming unusual miscs. Now, most of these are already hats. I'm not predicting, like, off the Steam community or whatever people have made. I'm just going off of what hats we already have and what is coming up. So all of these are rumors and opinion based, because I will be giving some that I assume would become miscs eventually, that are just based on what I'd assume, but for now we'll just begin right off the bat. So to say, the unusual Mask of the Shaman is very uncommon. It's not really uncrated, and you don't see it much out there, and people with them have been figuring out glitches on how to make this a misc, and there's rumors going on about the Mask of the Shaman becoming a misc. So as you can see here, it just looks like that. Demo only. Maybe it'll become a spy hat misc, because it states that it was provided in the spies like loadout stuff, blah blah blah. So that's one big unusual that may become a misc that everybody's talking about, which would be amazing due to the fact that Demo Man does not have a misc, and this could be the first. And it's just the fact that it just covers the face, and you can put hats on behind it or under it, all that type of stuff. So that's a big chance of on becoming a misc. Possible misc for the medic is most likely going to be the aka the medic's mirror, which I cannot pronounce that at all. So it's been rumored, it's going around, buzzing like a bee. A lot of the medic mirror owners are saying that it might become a misc, and I've seen quite a bit of the mirrors like glitched, lag switched on. So if they do plan on making this a misc, there's also a robo version called the halogen headlamp, which obviously if they're gonna make the original a misc, obviously they should be making the robo version a misc. So that'll be a nice little addition to the medic's beak. I do have a glitched picture with it. It's with the beak and the mirror and some other unusual. I can't quite recall what it was, but you'll see it on the screen there. So that will be a nice little misc there, because it's not too visible. It would be a nice misc to have for the medic. Possible medic misc, it's kind of rumored, not too much. I also assumed this on my own. The Z goggles, which is a nice item, kind of reference from Ghostbusters. So they're a nice misc. They don't really cover much of the head, so I'd assume it could become a misc, but who knows? Valve will do what they want and what they please. But also that would be another addition to the mirror or the beak. Although I don't think you would be able to do the mirror with the Z goggles, just due to the fact that they're in the same general area on the forehead. So that will be a nice misc there. And if you had the haunted ghosts and it became a misc, that would be a massive increase in price for the haunted ghost Z goggles, which is obviously massively themed with Ghostbusters. So that'd be a nice addition. Ah, I said nice. Ha! Now, one hat for the engineer out there that I'd love to have a misc is the Industrial Festivalizer. Festivalizer. I don't know why I said that. I always called it that for some odd reason. But obviously this hat looks amazing. I've seen it glitched on a Texas 10 gallon. And then I got a screenshot for you here with the engineer's cap. It is a nice combo. I'd love to have the Festivizer with any sort of hat. Let's say maybe like, oh, we could throw it on the tree, so it'd have like Christmas ornaments. That'd be a really nice addition to the miscs for the engineer, which he only has one. So obviously that'd be a nice addition for the engineer. But other than that, I'd love to have this a misc, and it's not really that rumored out there, but I've seen it on a few posts and people talking about it. Looked around on the web, and there's quite a bit of rumors on this because I've seen it glitched on multiple hats. It looks very nice and just looks like it should be a misc. So that's one big time one I'd say might become a misc. Now, one hat for the Pyro has been kind of rumored, but I honestly do not believe that this will become a misc, just due to the fact that I don't really see a hat going well together with the bubble pipe. Now, it is a hat for the Pyro. It goes around the head, and then it has a little pipe with smoke, so it has its own little extra added effect. with the unusual. But honestly, I do not see this one becoming a misc anytime soon. It's just, it goes around the head, and where are you going to put the hat when it's covering your head? Unless you put it outside of the bubble pipe, but then Valve would have to do more work and just figure out a way to clip it on top instead of inside or like normally on the head. So honestly, I do not see this one as a misc, although there is quite a bit of rumors going around that this one is to be sure a misc, but I don't really see it. And there's already like 3 Pyro miscs that are unusual, so I don't see this one truly becoming a misc. So yeah, that's just my opinion on it. Alright, so now the next hat that has small rumors about it, although I do see this one as becoming a misc. Like, it has to be certain. It is the Soldier Hat Exquisite Rack. Now, I just believe that this is going to become a misc just due to the fact that the stash is simply just a little belt around the soldier hat. Now, the Exquisite Rack is basically the same exact thing, except for it's just 2 little antlers on the side of a helmet. So, there's nothing really big about this. I don't really see it as a hat. I see it more as a misc. So, I do believe that this one should become a misc, although who knows when or where they're gonna do it. Although where would be in TF2, obviously, but maybe they'll have a TF3. No, not really. But yeah, I do believe that this soldier hat will become a misc. Like, it has to be certain. Now it is a old time hat, so that's one downside to it. Who knows? Maybe Valve's like, nah, we can't do that. It's too old of a hat. We can't just Shrek you guys like this. But I do believe that this one has to become a misc. Now, the next hat that is just like the Exquisite Rack, but except for it's an all class, is the Antlers. Now, obviously, like I said in the Exquisite Rack, it's not too big of a difference from a misc. It's just 2 horns on the side of a hat, or your head. So, I do assume that this one has to become a misc, although it is a bit of a newer hat. I see this one as being a misc as well, although I haven't really seen rumors go on about it, but I'm just going to assume that if the Exquisite Rack becomes a misc or the Antlers becomes a misc, the other one has to become a misc. So another Pyro unusual that I do see becoming another misc is a lot like the bubble pipe, except for it is the birdcage. Now this unusual here, or the hat here, holds more room in it for possibly another hat. Maybe you could just clip it on top of the little bird in there and just make it into a cage. I kind of see this becoming a misc, although it may not happen because Valve might want to keep the bird there. But if they were to make this a misc, they would also have to make the bolted bird cage just a robo version of the normal bird cage. So that'd be nice to add 2 more Pyro miscs into the Pyro's loadout. Now, it's kind of a low possibility for this just because the bird is the only thing being painted here. Now, other hats you'd be painting the hat, but this one you'd be painting the bird, and if you were to clip off the bird, there's no point of calling it a bird cage. So, this one may be a very, very, very low chance, if not 0%, who knows, but that's kind of a small assumption I made just due to the fact that if the bubble pipe is going to become a misc, or has rumors to be, I would kind of see the birdcage as becoming a misc as well. So another little Pyro hat that I believe, like, this one kind of has to be a misc, just due to the fact that it's a lot like the yellow boat, the burning bandana. Now this is just basically another hat that just sits on your head, but it could be concealed by another hat if clipped correctly. Now Valve, I do believe, could do that, just like the yellow belt. They did pretty well. It's a nice and dandy little misc. Now I do believe I've seen this clipped with a hat in game before, although I didn't take a screenshot, so I do not really have a legitimate picture to provide with this one, although it is a nice unusual a really new hat, so that'd be kind of nice to make it a misc now while it's still new, and instead of doing it while it's still old and kind of screwing some people over by changing the price. But I do believe this one will become a misc, although who knows when. Alright, so a demo hat that looks like a misc, and it looks a lot like the burning bandana and the yellow belt, although it's kind of different. It is the pirate's bandana. Now, obviously, being like the yellow belt, it has become a misc after a long time of being out. I believe that the pirate's bandana someday will become a misc, a lot like the burning bandana, because obviously they're basically the same thing, just a little bit different. Now, this is like obviously clearly easy to put a hat on, and then you just have like the little back part of it sticking out on the back like that, and then having the little earring, which obviously looks perfectly fine to put a hat on. Let's say like a modest, that would be a perfect fit for the way it looks. I don't know, it's perfect. It can be a misc. Now that's kind of a strong chance. I kind of feel like it should be a misc, so hopefully we see this becoming a misc sometime soon. Alright, so a hat for the heavy that I do see becoming a misc. Now, it's just like the burning bandana and the pirate's bandana. It's the heavy duty rag. Now, this is quite an old hat, but I do see it becoming a misc just because it's like a lot like the yellow belt and basically the same exact thing as the pirate's bandana. Now, it's just for the heavy and has a little pattern on it. I see this as becoming a misc, but who knows when. So, it is a nice heavy hat, and I hope it becomes a misc, because that will be a nice addition, and maybe people in the lower tier trading stuck with these, perhaps they'll have another chance at getting up there just by holding on to some hat. So there is a nice little NG hat out there. Now, I do believe, like strongly believe, that the big country will become a misc. Now, although it is just hair, it has two different styles where one, you can wear a helmet. Now, obviously you saw the Festivizer where it was just a helmet, so clearly the Festivizer would be perfect with this, or you could put like Texas 10 gallon on it and then just have the hair coming out under it, which would be an amazing misc to have. Now, there is a few hairs like the Magistrate's mullet out there, which I probably pronounced that wrong, but is still a hat and not a misc, although I would love to see that as a misc as well. But I do believe the big country has a bigger chance on becoming a misc, just due to the fact that it has the helmet style. So you could clearly clip hats on there nice and easily, which would be amazing to have. So last but not least, another NG hat. Now this hat is the greatest hat you'll ever see. Beats by Dr. J. No, I'm just kidding. The Safe and Sound. Now, this is my favorite hat of all time. I've uncrated one. It was my first unusual I've ever uncrated. And I'd love to see this a misc, although it may not become a misc just due to the fact that it covers a lot of the head and there's really no room for a hat. Although if you had a big country, I'd say that would be a nice clip with this. Like, you'd have hair and it would just go nicely. You'd have a double effect there. But who knows, they probably will not do that just due to the fact that it covers a lot of the head. So that's the only reason why it couldn't be a misc. But other than that, I hope they just increase the size of it and allow clipping with the Safe and Sound. Now that's all for today, guys. I just wanted to go over some of these possibilities of future upcoming unusual miscs. Now, if I were you, the ones that you see a lot of rumors and talk about, I would recommend just going on and purchasing one and holding on to it until it becomes a misc. And if that day never comes, then you might as well just cash it out and go on and make some profit. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Hopefully it helps you guys. Hopefully it'll make you some profit in the future. And that's just my 2 cents on some future upcoming opinions on unusual miscs.